make a few bucks there. But there's too much traffic. Well, oh, great. As I say that, and I'm getting ready to show you, there's no traffic. So, I don't know, maybe rush hour is over. One of the things that makes me a little afeared of doing it here is that I'm on Shell Station's property. Of course, I'm not a very good driver. I'm not a good driver at all. This car is also a death trap, so there's also that to be considered. If there's traffic on the road, I am not wanting to drive. As far as being unwilling to, if it's necessary, I'll do it. Oh, and of course, as I poke this up to show you the traffic, I noticed there was actually a break in the traffic there. Chapel, Nebraska, that would be rush hour. But of course, I get to talking while just holding the thing, and then a bunch of cars drive by, and I go, well, all right. Rush hour might be over. I guess this is pretty useless. I do want to mention again the situation with Dean and the human rights violations that are inherent in what these officers are doing, and what the fact of the matter is with the not having social workers investing that much money in basically twisting and manipulating shit by wasting a bunch of money so they could technically sort of Dean is a horrible person for having his vehicle there and busted. This is just fucking stupid. Also, there's probably a reason that they haven't had anybody up there to clean that thing in months. The Department of who is supposed to be cleaning that, taking care of that, maintaining that? And who maintains it? Myself, Logan, and Shayna. Logan and Shayna are gone now. So it's me. They don't come by and pick up the trash that's there. The trash bag that's there, the big yellow one, I think that came from one of the state workers. That was like 3 months ago that they put that there, and it's still sitting there. I went and picked up nearly all the garbage that was in there and shoved it all in my car and in that one trash bag. And of course, I got another trash bag. It's a black one. And I picked up some of the garbage out there. There's a little bit of garbage from my car, but not much. Most of the garbage that's in my car even it isn't even my garbage. It was left in that parking lot up there, the park and ride. Now, with Dean being parked right next to it, I mean, if we could have gotten somebody motivated, and I did speak out on my YouTube, and I did ask for help with that, just hindsight is 2020, right? Well, for me, it wasn't hindsight. I saw this coming. Just like with Natalie Bollinger, it wasn't hindsight. I saw it coming. Just like with Christine Buhit, it wasn't hindsight. I saw it coming. This is stupid. It's inhumane, and, you know, if this is the greatest country on earth, I think Putin is right to want to blow the whole damn planet up. Chris Stegeman, he has a similar analogy, but he uses Thanos. Is that, well, honestly and truly what I want to happen? No, it's not. I want people to stop being selfish and doing the whole every man out for himself thing in a system where it's not created for anyone to thrive when they're only out for themselves. Most of the people that tell me that I need to be only out for myself, they have families to depend on. Families that they can fall back on if things don't go well. People will give you suggestions based on their level of understanding and their level of resources, and it doesn't occur to them that you don't have those resources. One of the situations I want to bring up with that is Case Leighton Morris. You know, with me not having a family and him having family, and his family fought hard for him, he was allowed to screw up a lot more than I was because his family would fight for him. When he was doing screwed up stuff, his family was doing those screwed up things with him. So, of course, if they're doing screwed up stuff with him, they're going to be invested in helping to make sure he doesn't get in trouble and they don't get in trouble. Now, when I tried to explain to him that it's different for me, that I don't have that family support and I never have, well, then he wanted to get angry at me and he wanted to throw that in my face, didn't he? It's not my fault I have a family who cares. Dude, that's not even what I was trying to say. You trying to play victim over that. You know there's a big difference between what it is that I was explaining to you and you being a douchebag. You know damn well. Now, from all of these people, all I asked from them was the truth. You'd think asking people to be honest would not be construed the same way as twisting somebody's arm. You'd think that asking somebody to be honest wouldn't be construed the same as slander. Well, you know what? A lot of those people made empty promises. They took advantage of me and they took advantage of my situation. They took advantage of my desperation. They took advantage of me physically and mentally and financially. And at the end of the day, they don't have to admit to their sins, do they? Of course not. They don't have to admit to the laws that they broke. A lot of these folks who wanted to claim things I said were slander, before they said that, they should have taken a look at my YouTube channel. Did I really slander them? Perhaps before saying, I didn't say that, Sean, perhaps they should have looked at my YouTube channel. Not much I enjoy more than shoving those people's words down their throats, and obviously not literally. For those of you who want to pretend everything I say is a threat against someone's life. It's never a threat against someone's life. Now, the one situation where I did actually get desperate enough to threaten people's lives, actually threaten them, no stipulations. It was specifically with the intent and purpose of getting a day in court. I threatened to kill the President of the United States at that point in time as well. I also threatened to kill all of the people who threatened to kill me, or to threaten to kill my family, or who had assaulted me, or had assaulted anybody who offered to help me, or anyone who tried to help me. I was very much pointing out in specific the people who had committed crimes against me. Not only that, I had made sure that both on Facebook Live and in Messenger, I explained to people, I'm going to have to threaten people. And when I say I'm going to kill someone, what I mean is that I'm going to kill them with time. It is my intent and my purpose to get a court date to see that these people do not get away with their crimes. Of course, was I allowed to show that? No. Was I allowed to show any of the things that were done to me at Clearview or by Waylon Lolotai? No. Was I? No. Did they slander me? Yes. Did I have to go to an officer who had already committed crimes in order to cover up the wrongdoing of the Boulder Police Department and the death of Daniel Kitlett? Yes, indeed. That man's name is Sergeant Gerhardt. When I spoke with him on the phone in Cheyenne, Wyoming, I knew I recognized him from somewhere. I knew it. I knew I'd spoken with him once before. When I asked him his name, as soon as he said it, I was like, all right, I can put two and two together on this. I'm going to have to go through the bodies in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm going to have to figure out which one he was in connection with. Daniel Kitlitz. That's who he was in connection with. They knew Daniel Kitlitz was dead. They knew that he was not breathing and unresponsive at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I went in and I spoke with him, and they pull a trick that they like to do after you've gone through and given all of the information that you possibly can. As soon as you leave the meeting room, then they say something. Like, of course, Jai Rogers wanted to ask me to go to Boulder. Now, although that was outside of the room, the door was still open, and the recordings should still have shown that. The recordings will also show that although Detective Peterson claimed only 5 minutes with me, he went out and had a cigarette with me. I let him know when we were having that cigarette that I was willing to commit felonies to keep Natalie Bollinger safe. The situation as they had presented it was that Natalie Bollinger may have been involved in a shooting, and that it was another individual, possibly one of her friends, was with her, and that they were treating what happened to Natalie as a kidnapping, and they were treating this other individual as a murder, but that they thought they might be connected. When I explained to Detective Peterson, when I went out to have a cigarette, that I was willing to commit felonies to get Natalie safe and to keep her safe, is that something that he decided to mention, or is that something that he wanted to keep hush-hush and not admit to? Did he want to hide the stuff that I showed him about Tim Beeson and these other people that were threatening me and harassing me and making fake profiles? And, of course, the whole time I'm asking these people to stop. I'm telling them the things you guys are telling me to tell them. You know, if you tell them you're mentally ill, then it's a felony for them to keep messing with you. Well, I told Tim Beeson I was mentally ill, didn't I? Was it a felony for him to keep on harassing me and threatening my family and threatening me? Absolutely not. They refused to investigate it. They refused to investigate anything in Chapel. They refused to investigate anything in Boulder. Just outright refuse. Alright, we'll show you the traffic here. It's still too much traffic for me. Now, I've driven through Seattle in rush hour traffic, and you know, there's a lot more traffic in Seattle for rush hour traffic. There's a lot more in Tacoma for rush hour traffic. But I also know that as unsafe as it is for me to be driving, period, and having to do so, that this isn't right. So, with the situation with Hood River pulling the shit that they're pulling with Dean, them knowing that he can't take care of himself, them knowing that they can pull the mentally ill thing real heavy and just pretend like Dean was denying help and didn't want help and wasn't trying. No, he doesn't have a place, and they preyed on that. They knew it 100%, and they preyed on that. They were already well aware that he didn't have a place to move that thing. They preyed on that. They pretended, knowing full well they had no intention of doing any such thing. This cannot be tolerated. Anyway, my phone is almost dead. I'm going to have to end this video. Battery power 5%. I will, of course, have to start my vehicle and get this thing going a little bit, and then I'll start another video so that while I'm traveling, if they pull me over for anything, I will have time to start the recordings, because it takes sometimes up to 5 minutes to get one of these started, and they can do a lot of stuff in 5 minutes. Anyway, it's good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper. No victim left behind.